Shifting focus to the other big story of the day, the first ever 2+2 dialogue between India and the United States of America. U.S. Secretary of Defense James Mattis met Indian Defense Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in New Delhi. U.S. Foreign Minister Mike Pompeo also met his Indian counterpart Sushma Swaraj for the high-level dialogue. The two sides held a joint press conference where they emphasized the need to strengthen cooperation between the two countries. India and the U.S. inked a long-negotiated pact under which critical and encrypted defense technologies will be provided to the Indian military by the Americans. The Communications Compatibility Security Agreement, or COMCASA, was signed after the first 2+2 talks.
The signing of the Communications Compatibility and Security Agreement, COMCASA, today will enable India to access advanced technologies from the US and enhance India's defense preparedness. Maritime security has been a focus area of our participation and cooperation. To deepen our ties in this area, we will expand our interactions on maritime domain awareness. The United States has renamed its Pacific Command responsible for relations with India as Indo-Pacific Command. Reflecting a wider global participation and partnership, we will also enhance our interactions with the United States military's Central Command.
The United States' Secretary of State said that they are committed to ensure India gets a seat at the table in the Nuclear Suppliers Group, or NSG, a demand India has been making for years.
Thanks to intense advocacy from the United States, 10 years ago today, the Nuclear Suppliers Group voted to allow India to engage in trade in civilian nuclear materials and technologies. That vote and the subsequent Section 123 Civil Nuclear Agreement opened a path for our strategic relationship to grow, bolstered defense and commercial cooperation, and expanded our people-to-people ties. We now look forward to what we can achieve over the next 10 years. In particular, we look forward to finalizing the Westinghouse Civil Nuclear Project that will provide clean and reliable power to millions of Indians.
During the talks, Pompeo said that U.S.-India relations are growing steadily since Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited the U.S. last year. He said U.S. will support India's rise as a leading global power and welcome New Delhi's equal commitment to this partnership. Pompeo also added that U.S. is hoping to discuss how India can work with the United States to achieve the fully verifiable denuclearization of North Korea. The issue of H-1B visas granted by America was also raised during the meeting. Although there has been no major change so far in the H-1B visa policy from the American side, the sentiment about the tightening of visa norms was a cause of concern for India. India's External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj emphasized on the need to keep people-to-people connect going.
मैंने H-1B वीजा व्यवस्था में प्रस्तावित बदलाव के मुद्दे पर एक संतुलित और संवेदनशील दृष्टिकोण अपनाने के लिए सेक्रेटरी पोम्पियो से अनुरोध किया है, क्योंकि इस प्रकार के फेरबदल से हमारे नवोन्मेष और लोगों के बीच आपसी आदान प्रदान पर बहुत दुष्प्रभाव पड़ेगा, जो हमारे संबंधों को ऊर्जावान बनाने का एक महत्वपूर्ण माध्यम है। और मैंने सेक्रेटरी पोम्पियो से कहा है कि राष्ट्रपति ट्रंप और प्रधानमंत्री मोदी जी के बीच में जो मित्रता है, उसका लेकर भारत के लोगों को लगता है कि अमेरिका उनके हितों के खिलाफ कोई काम नहीं करेगा। मैंने कहा है उनको कि भारत के लोगों के इस विश्वास को वो बनाए रखें।
The ministers also called on Pakistan to act against terror groups emanating from its soil. U.S. secretaries asked Pakistan to bring to justice those responsible for the attacks in Mumbai in the year 2008. They also called on Pakistan to swiftly act against those responsible for Uri and Pathankot attacks. WION correspondent Siddhant Sibbal gets us this report from the first ever 2+2 dialogue. Take a look.
The 2+2 dialogue is over here in New Delhi, and a lot of outcomes coming Key, of course, on COMCASA. India and American administration has signed COMCASA, and under the COMCASA agreement, which is an enabling agreement, all the data which India gets cannot be given to any person or entity without India's approval, and it does not forces India to acquire any American platform. That is a big win for India. But other than COMCASA, it's Iran. Sources also tell us that American side has said to New Delhi that it's willing to accommodate on Chabar. Remember, Chabar is India's answer to Gwadar. That's part of the China-Pakistan economic corridor, and that is another key win for India. On S-400 deal, no mention was given by the American administration. But the understanding is that Americans do understand India's position on the engagements with Russia and engagements with Iran. Speaking of Iran, when it comes to oil, India has said that it's trying to diversify, especially trying to get shale gas from the Americans. That is kind of part of the Trump administration also, America's first. But for India, it's another win because India has said that India is trying to buy helicopters from the American side. Other than these big developments, the other development is on Pakistan. The US Secretary of State Pompeo came from Islamabad to New Delhi, and he briefed the Indian side on his view. He said it's too early to judge the new government in Pakistan, but he said that they encourage the new government to act on the issue of terror. With video journalist Sanjeet Siddhant for WION in New Delhi.
Less than 24 hours ago, an unnamed senior Donald Trump administration official sounded an alarm about Trump's amorality and reckless decision-making in a New York Times column. Now, President Trump has reacted to that article, calling it, quote-unquote, gutless.
They don't like Donald Trump, and I don't like them because they're very dishonest people. Remember this also about the New York Times. When I won, they were forced to apologize to their subscribers. They wrote a letter of apology. It was the first time anybody's ever done it because they covered the election incorrectly. So if the failing New York Times has an anonymous editorial, can you believe it? Anonymous, meaning gutless, a gutless editorial. We're doing a great job. The poll numbers are through the roof. Our poll numbers are great. And guess what? Nobody is going to come close to beating me in 2020 because of what we've done. We've done more than anybody ever thought possible in, it's not even 2 years. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
The anonymous writer claimed to be a part of the resistance movement against Trump, but not from the traditional left. Titled, "I'm part of the resistance inside the Trump administration," the opinion piece sought to assure Americans that officials in US President Trump's administration are, quote-unquote, working diligently from within to frustrate parts of Trump's agenda and his worst inclinations. The editorial questioned the president's morality and criticized his leadership style, comments, and actions. The column was released a day after details from an explosive new book by longtime journalist Bob Woodward raised concerns about the highest echelons of the US president's aides and their views on the president's judgment.